The biggest birds in the world, by maximum weight, birds have evolved to fill a great diversity of niches, living in vastly different habitats and having varied lifestyles. Thus, they come in many different shapes and sizes, from the tiny to the towering. This list gives you the lowdown on the biggest birds that currently grace the planet. The great majority of these big birds belong to just one group, ratites. Ratites are all flightless and, with the exception of kiwis, are all long-legged, long-necked and large. The group contains the ostriches, rheas, cassowaries and emus that all feature on this list, but also the now extinct elephant birds and moa. 10. Lesser rhea. The lesser rhea, found in the Altiplano and Patagonia regions of South America, is also known as Darwin's rhea. This is because they were a species that helped start Darwin's musings on the mechanism of evolution. Darwin encountered these large flightless birds during an expedition through Patagonia in 1833. He had already seen the larger greater rhea but was very intrigued when that there was another distinct but very similar species living in the neighboring region. He was puzzled as to why two such similar animals would coexist. This puzzle helped him to realize that species were not fixed and that they could arise from a common ancestor. 9. Dwarf cassowary. The smallest of the three cassowary species, the dwarf cassowary is also known as the mountain cassowary, due to its mountain forest habitats in New Guinea, New Britain, and Yapen Island, with a range elevation of up to 3,000 meters. As well as being smaller, they are distinguished from their relatives by their lack of a wattle. They do however still have rather fetching bright blue-purple necks. 8. Domestic turkey. Now we come to the only bird on our list that can fly. Although, admittedly, not particularly high or far. This tendency to stay close to the ground is what has led to them becoming such a popular and easily hunted species. Once found in their millions from Canada to Mexico, wild turkey numbers quickly plummeted once Europeans began arriving in the Americas, the population dropping as low as 30,000 individuals. In the 1930s, thankfully a better understanding of their life cycle as well as the establishment of profitable domestic populations has led to a recovery, with current estimates placing the wild turkey population at around 7 million. Commercially bred for intensive size gain over a short lifespan. Domestic turkeys weigh far more than wild turkeys. Females weigh up to 5 kilograms and males weigh up to 11 kilograms. 7. Greater rhea. The largest extant native bird anywhere in the Americas, greater rhea can be found in Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay, as well as, strangely, there being a feral population established in northern Germany. This came about due to 1 male and 5 females escaping from a farm in the year 2000. Although their native habitats include tropical grasslands, savanna, and even desert, they seem to be doing surprisingly well in the German farmlands due to a lack of natural predators, with their population having risen to 566 individuals by 2018. Since then, hunting has been allowed to curb their destructive effect on crops. 6. Emperor penguin. The first non-ratite on our list is the majestic emperor penguin. These burly penguins are found exclusively in Antarctica, and have some fascinating adaptations that allow them to survive in this extreme land of ice and snow, where temperatures regularly fall below a glacial -60 degrees Celsius. Providing vital insulation, they have a thick layer of subdermal fat and extremely dense feathers that stand on end to trap a layer of heat next to the body. They also keep each other warm by forming dense huddles that may consist of several hundred individuals, rotating who gets to enjoy the warm core and who must suffer the frigid edges. 5. Emu. Lighter than the southern and northern cassowaries, but taller is the emu. This long-legged, long-necked bird can reach around 1.9 meters tall and is found only in Australia. Emus have an interesting and mixed relationship with humans. Although historically economically valuable as a food and fuel source, an important source of meat for both indigenous Australians and early European settlers, and their fat used to light lamps, they have also come into conflict with people due to their crop-destroying tendencies. In perhaps one of the most absurd examples of human-wildlife conflict ever, the Australian government declared war on the birds, deploying ex-soldiers with machine guns to take them down. This is known as the Great Emu War of 1932. The most surprising part? The emus won. 4. Northern cassowary. Very similar in look to its southern cousin, the northern cassowary is slightly lighter on average and tends to have a single rather than a double wattle, the colorful flap of skin hanging off its neck. This species is found only in the coastal swamp areas and lowland rainforests of northern New Guinea, as well as a few Indonesian islands. The northern is the most threatened of the 3 cassowary species, with hunting for bones, eggs and meat being the biggest concern. 3. Southern cassowary. Although not as intimidating as the ostriches, the positively prehistoric-looking southern cassowary, one of the world's weirdest birds, would still tower over a lot of people, at about 1.7 meters tall. Native to the rainforests of northeastern Australia, New Guinea, Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, they forage the forest floor for fallen fruits, fungi and insects. They are often heard before they are seen, with a distinctive deep booming call that will leave you thinking nervously of Jurassic Park. 2. Somali ostrich. Once thought a subspecies of the common ostrich, but now recognized as its own distinct species, the Somali ostrich is on average slightly smaller than its record-breaking relative. It is native to the Horn of Africa in the easternmost part of the continent. The 2 extant species of ostrich are a good example of allopatric speciation, wherein populations of a species are separated from each other by a geographic barrier so that they can no longer interbreed and eventually evolve into separate species. In this case, the geographic barrier is the East African Rift. 1. Common ostrich. The largest on our list. Weighs as much as a piano and can reach an impressive height of up to 2.8 meters. The common ostrich, native to large areas of Africa, as well as introduced and feral in parts of Australia, is also the speediest living land bird with running speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, and it lays the largest eggs of any bird. Truly a record breaker. They are mainly herbivorous, feeding on shrubs, grass, flowers, and seeds, but they can still be pretty dangerous due to their powerful kicking legs. They kill around 3 people each year in South Africa. One famous, non-fatal, ostrich attack incident involved the musician Johnny Cash, who was slashed at by one of the birds he kept on his property.